Hello there, I'm Artistic Gamer 7 and I'm back with another Create a Sim video. In this one we are doing some more Pokemon characters. As you can see here, the first one is already underway and it is going to be Lurantis, which I gave her the last name of Blade. Lurantis is one of the newer Pokemon that you will see in like Sun and Moon. She ended up being one of my absolute favorite Pokemon, but I also will admit that out of like bugs in real life, for some reason praying mantises are some of my favorite ones, and she was obviously sort of modeled after a praying mantis, hence the name Lurantis. But so yeah, I definitely did want to make her in Sims, and I decided to do 3 of them together. Now, of course, they're not all from Sun and Moon, as you will eventually see. I just sort of picked 3 random ones that I really liked and that I also wanted to try to make in the Sims universe, and also thought it would be sort of interesting to play with them on my own free time, just because of like some of the personalities that I could imagine these Pokemon would have if they were actually human or a Sim and such. And at this point, I definitely struggled with some of the things because, like, with the Pokemon, it's like, especially if they're not a human looking like Pokemon in the first place, it is pretty hard. Lurantis is not too far because at least she's standing upright, but with the hair, I like took forever with. Now, there was one hair that should have showed, like, it showed up earlier in the video while I was doing it, where it was like down, but then it had also like these weird, like, little, not exactly bun things, but there it is again. Yeah, it's sort of like a loosely fitted bun or whatever that I absolutely, because like the way the bun was made sort of looked sort of like almost the way her like head details are in the game, and I thought it was really cute, but it had some sort of glitch in the actual hair, like it was doing weird. It didn't do it on like all the colors, but it did on most of the colors, and more importantly, it did it on the pink, which is definitely the color I needed for Lurantis, since her color scheme is definitely mostly shades of pink, along with that sort of minty aqua color. So, yeah, that was sort of disappointing, but in the end, that is the 2 little buns with sort of the strands in the front was what I ended up picking. I definitely wanted like some of the hair down, even if it was just a few strands, because like she has like the 2 things on the top of her head and then towards more of the bottom side thing. So, but this is what I like, and it is really cute, and I really like how she turned out. I will say ahead of time though, with these particular Sims, I had a huge frustrating moment because I recorded this video and then I immediately went to actually like building a house for them, and I actually recorded the house build as well, or started to, but then I ended up taking so long that I had to pause the game, leave, and come back to it later on. And then recently, like, there's been, during the winter, this happens quite often, and just with things the way they are, because of snow, or because of, like, the freezing rain, or because of ice, or the vehicles in ice hitting power lines, or something like that, that there's, like, power issues. And I thought I had saved my game, but apparently I did not. So, and there was, when I was leaving, I was actually leaving and staying overnight at a friend's house, and I thought that I had saved the game, and I knew there was a chance of bad weather coming while I was gone. So I had turned my computer off just in case, because I didn't want it like shorting out or anything, like the electrical outlets or any of that stuff, even though it is on a strip that is like a power saver and a surge protector as well. But so when I went to actually go back and finish the house, because I didn't actually do like, I didn't finish the recording, but also I didn't want to do like the little detail stuff in the recording of the house. The house was gone. So I was like, I went to go check on the Sims, and these three little lovely people were gone as well. So I have remade them. I did base it off of what I had made these. There are some differences when if you get to see them out and about in some of my other Sim series, or maybe I do like a Towny Life series with them. I am sort of planning on doing one, at least one or two episodes at their place. But yeah, there are some differences, and luckily for me, in some way, the minor differences that I had, I sort of like them better now. So, apologizing for that this video isn't technically going to be the actual same Sims that you see at the end, but there isn't that much of differences and stuff like that, and I still gave them, like, the same traits and all that stuff, and the same clothes. It was their facial features, for the most part, that was that slightly different look. But for the most part, they looked the same for the most part, just a few differences. Lurantis is still very cute, because I've ended up loving her, how she turned out and stuff. I did have a really hard time with picking out her outfit, because I was definitely trying to get a certain color and a certain look, and there was a particular dress, because the way that Lurantis looks, like the actual Pokemon with those, like, little flary things, like, near where her butt is at. One particular dress that I really, really wanted, but it didn't, and it's this one. But it didn't come in the shade of pink that I wanted, and technically Lurantis did have some white on her as well, and I was thinking about using the white one. I do eventually change my mind, because the white was just so overpowering, and Lurantis is definitely more pinky than any whites and such, but I really wish that that dress would have came in the more pinky tone that I was looking for her, but sadly it did not. But what are you gonna do? Sometimes you can't get exactly what you want, and in Sims 4 you can't change the colors of the outfits to whatever you really want, so just had to work around that. But in the end, like I said, I was still happy with the outcome of them. As you can see, this is where I was deciding on which, do I go with the pink or do I go with the more shape of the dress that I wanted. But I did decide to do the more pink tone for her, and but I do love that they had like leggings that had those pink tones that is on her that was striped. They of course are not the right stripe that Lurantis has, because Lurantis is more vertical than horizontal, but the fact that they still had pink stripes is good. And but also the next one that I will be doing is going to be Absol, which I did sort of struggle on figuring out how, because I still want them to look human, because what I'm going for usually when I make these Pokemon Create a Sims is that they still have some element of the, like, element of the Pokemon, like the color scheme and maybe like the look, like if you imagine their personality as a person, how that would look is what I'm sort of going to. So I still want it to look human, but at the same time get it across that it's what their personality is like and stuff. So I did, with her, it was like her skin tone that I really sort of thought about, because Absol definitely has like, looks like the fur, and then it looks like the black as her skin tone. So I didn't necessarily want to give her like super dark, like basically black, because like the actual color of black is not like a true skin tone. So I think I do stick with this skin tone, or maybe one shade lighter, but then I add a skin detail over it, so it does end up lightening it a little bit more afterwards. But I sort of like how it looked better, just because it did give that more realistic look, like she's just like very dark versus like burnt. So but I do like how she turned out. She's definitely like, she doesn't necessarily fit with her two roommates, but it's fine. It sort of gives it that interesting feel, because it's like, whoa, like sometimes you don't get to really choose your roommates, or sometimes you like think that you might can tolerate them or might get along with them and then realize you don't. But she's definitely gotten more of a more like laid back loner, chill, like I just want to be left alone and do my own thing. And while the other two are definitely more on the happy-go-lucky, girly side, so it sort of does add that interesting element. So, with them, and then the third one, which it will take me a while to get to, because I do also struggle with Absol's outfit, mainly because, like, granted, you do see that she's got the black, like, skin or whatever, but her fur is completely white, and she has more of, like, that fur-looking stuff all over her than she does, like, what appears to be the skin underneath. So, I definitely tried to get a lot of clothes that were white, and I, like, started with these pants, and I actually do still really like these pants, and I would consider going back to them, but then I decided to give her a skirt just because of the fur-looking, flowy-looking, so I tried to give her something that was sort of flowy-looking. So I do end up giving her, like, a skirt, and then, like, some leggings that sort of have, like, some sort of detail on them, so that it's still unique and interesting and different, but also still covers the basis of getting a lot of the white on her. But, then the next one is going to be Gardevior, which is obviously out of all of them the one that has the definitely most, human aspect to her. Now, will say before it even shows up her, one thing that I did do a lot differently than what people usually draw her as, even as her Pokemon self, or as, like, a more human version of her, is that I didn't really make her chest region as big as they normally do, because, for one, like, to me personally, when you see the Pokemon, yes, she is definitely a very girly, feminine-looking Pokemon, and the way she's designed, I definitely could see that more sensual, sexy, whatever. But that doesn't always necessarily mean big boobs, because that doesn't, to me, that's not always what could be sexy. I think you could be sexy and be any sort of body shape. So, and looking at the actual Pokemon herself, she looks, other than that little red design that she has on her, she is very more flat. So I personally went with that, so that might be something that some people don't agree with doing, but I didn't necessarily want to do what everyone else does. I wanted to get my renditions of them, and what I think, and what are the feels that I'm going for, and I definitely felt, to me, that she looked better that way, and it fit her better, and stuff, so that is the one difference that some people, I feel like, when they see her, would call out, just because so many people have drawn her that way. But this is how I seen her and stuff. But you'll see when it gets to her eventually. I'm probably not gonna be talking by that point. But with her, she probably definitely was the easiest out of all of them. I did go back and forth on the hair a bit, because there was one that I really, really loved the style of the hair, and I thought it fit Gardevoir better, but it didn't necessarily have the colors that I wanted, while the other one, the one that I ended up going with, had closer to the colors that I wanted, and still kept sort of that shorter hairstyle shape that I wanted to go for. So it, like I said, can't really do anything about it, since it's what colors are made for the, whether it's custom content or the EA one, whatever colors they made, that's the colors you get, and you can't really go from there and make your own. So it's what it is, but I still like, again, how they all turned out. I think they all are pretty and cute in their own ways and have their own individual personalities and things like that, and I think it would be really interesting to play with them. I actually have played with them a little bit after this video, and another thing that is different is the fact that I meant to include it in this like create some video, but for some reason while I was doing this video I totally forgot about it, and I didn't think about it until after I finished their house and moved them into their house and started to actually decorate the house, and I was like, wait, I wanted to make them a pet. So they do have a cat, and the cat actually is based off of a cat looking like Pokemon as well. I'm gonna let you figure out what cat it is. You can guess which Pokemon it possibly is. Like I said, it is very clearly a more cat looking Pokemon, and I have recreated it in the Sims. So if you can guess which one it is, good job. But you can see in the, like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm doing at least one Towny Life episode. So you can see there, or maybe in another series where they are walking around with the cat. But feel free to try to guess and figure out what it is. Which one it is. But I do decide to mainly give it to Lurantis, partially because she ended up being my favorite. And she's actually my favorite Pokemon out of the three. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please hit that lovely like button and subscribe to see more videos from me. There is going to be a little bit more of the Create Sim going here in a moment, and I will just add my usual Create Sim music to the end of it to finish it out. But I will have links in the description below to other Create Sims that I have, so that you can go and see the past Create Sims on other Pokemon characters, and as well as pets and things like that. I'm not planning on doing just Create Sims based off of Pokemon. I do partially like doing them because they are sort of so challenging, compared to if I was to do like an actual character from a like TV show where actors and stuff play in it, because they already are human. It's just I'm recreating their features. And I feel like this, doing the Pokemon, it's a little bit more creative for me and such, so I prefer to do them. But I am going to end up doing, like, some Zelda characters and things like that as well in future Create Sim videos, so that's always something to look forward to. I will also have the other Sim series going on, their playlists in the links down below, so that you can go check up on those series and see if any of these little three lovelies ever end up in those series. I'm sure they will. But anyway, that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the video, and like I said, don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and share the video. It would really help to others that you think would enjoy it as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.